Okay, just to recap, I'm going to take option 2 here and add one detail to it. I'm going to choose to have it taxed as an S corporation instead of the sole proprietorship taxation that we had been using previously. In the entrepreneur world, this is called electing S corp tax treatment. So if the point of S corp taxation is to split the profits into two separate parts, paycheck income and profit distribution income, then what should we pay ourselves in the form of a paycheck? Well, if the paycheck is the only income that's subject to Social Security and Medicare, then logically we'd take our paycheck and make it low as possible, and then the rest use as profit distributions just to avoid the extra taxation. Well, that's good thinking, but the problem is the IRS knows about this loophole as well. And so they require that you pay yourself a, quote, fair paycheck amount. So what is, quote, a fair paycheck? The general rule is that you would pay yourself at least the same amount that you'd have to pay someone else to do that same job for you. Now, obviously, that paycheck amount could be subject to opinion, but the IRS has data on how much different professions typically pay their employees. For example, doctors and accountants and restaurant managers and lawyers, all these paycheck amounts are pretty standard and they're easy to average. But for atypical jobs like musicians, artists, and many other careers, it's hard to predict an average paycheck for someone. And after all, Bruce Springsteen makes maybe 1,000 times more money than I make. And I make probably 3 or 4 times the amount an average local musician makes. So the range is just all over the place for an atypical job position. So again, how much would you decide to pay yourself? If your job description is typical, then just be close to what is typically paid for that position. But here's what I did for my atypical music business. When I was only moderately successful at business, I split the profits exactly in two and assigned half of it as a paycheck and the other half as profit. Until I became very successful, and then I paid myself about $50,000 a year in salary, and then took the remaining amount, whatever that happened to be, and gave it to myself as a profit distribution. Now, early on in a business, when money is tight and you're still growing, splitting the profits like that is something that happens pretty often, and it shows the IRS that you evenly separated paychecks and profits while you grew your business. In other words, you didn't unfairly emphasize one or the other. In our option 2 example, the profits were only around $30,000. So in the next video, I'm going to split those profits in half and have half of it be a paycheck to ourselves and the other half be profit distribution to ourselves. And then we're going to see the real difference in the tax bill.